Yep, it's Don, the director of fun, and you got it. I'm pretty much up there in the hills, in the mountains, and because I have a passion for the mountains. That's something I want to talk about today. Passion. You got one for what you're doing? You got one for anything? We're gonna talk a little bit about that. Stand by. We'll be right back. Well, let's talk a little bit about passion, shall we? And you don't mind me, I'm just going to lean on this nice fence. I got all these views here with all the changing colors of the fall. Right in a position where I was getting a lot of glare trying to video, so there's a couple of pictures I'll post there at the end for you. But I want to talk a little bit about passion. Now, you ever met a really, really good artist? Well, I did. Late last spring, early summer, somewhere in that time frame, I ran into a guy who was painting on the side of the road up in Crested Butte, Colorado. And he happened to be painting the crest of the butte. In fact, he's done that a few times at different seasons. I had to pull over, talk to this guy. In fact, I interviewed him. You can see my interview there at www.directorof.fun. But I got to talking with him. Here's a guy that'd been painting and now runs a art gallery, and he made sure to emphasize he was an artist first. But he didn't start till he was 21 years old. He wasn't a drawer or a painter in high school. It wasn't even a thing. All of a sudden he came across something and it just hit him. And he developed a passion and he learned how to paint. And then he built that into a business that was making money from his paintings, and then it built it into opening up his own art shop. Took a lot of drive, and I asked him about that. I said, was it a sacrifice to get there? And he said, oh yeah, it was a sacrifice, but it was worth everything to me. He says, I started out single and ended up supporting 3 kids and a wife and getting what we need. But man, there were some hard times, some tough times. I didn't know if I was going to be able to stay in it, but I had such a drive for it, such a passion for it. I didn't want to let it go. I run into a lot of people in business that, they don't have that kind of drive. Most of us are in direct sales or some type of network or MLM group or affiliate marketing. By the way, it's the fastest way to cash, right? We're in something along those lines. And I can tell the difference between somebody who has passion for what they're involved in and somebody who's out to make a quick buck. See, the person who's out to make a quick buck, well, a year ago, they might have been selling XYZ makeup or soaps. And then 9 months ago, they kind of switched over to, some type of financial services thing. And then later they switched over to some type of travel thing. Or, you see this. People changing what they're doing every 3 or 4 months or every 5 months. And the reason for that is twofold. One, they don't really have a passion for what they're doing. They got into what they're doing because somebody convinced them they could make a quick buck. And they might. And they might not. If they do make it, they'll be in it a little bit longer, but it won't last, it won't survive. And that's the sad part. That's where the passion comes into play. See, if you've got passion, you'll fight your way through it regardless of what's going on. And you'll find a way to be able to make it work because you have a passion for what it does, both for you and for the people you serve. So I like to ask people, do you really have a passion for what you do? Do you have a passion for the things that people get out of what you do or what you provide? If you don't, you might want to take a little time to do some reevaluation here and here, because you're not in a long-term game without it. And the idea is to be long-term, right? So that you can get out and set up a system, set things up on an automated basis so you can go out and play and have fun like I teach people to do and still have money coming in, right? That's the whole idea. So, we do this. We teach people how to do it on an automated basis, and if you're interested in learning how to do that and getting that information, right below here, there's some links you can click on with some training and education. But the reality is, if you don't have a passion, you're not going to stick to it long term. You might make some money and then you're going to move on to something else. And you know, you've all seen it. If you've been in this industry of trying to work on your own for more than 3, 4, or 5 months, you've seen people do that. You might even have done it yourself. Maybe I did it myself too at one time. But I found my passion, and I found what works, and I found that I like doing it. You got to have that same drive. Well, listen, not going to take up all your time. This is kind of a short one, but get out there and work from your heart. Work smart. The Director of Fun says, get a life, not one that's grinding all the time. Don't forget to enjoy your day-to-day, your week-to-week. Live life in the now as well as work for the future. Y'all have a good one. Director of Fun, gotta go.